Welcome back to my channel, everyone. It's been a long time. Put out a little POV video yesterday, and I'm hoping to just put out a little edit today, mainly as kind of an introduction back into my channel. I want to start by saying I will put out a lot more free running content. It's what I love to do. It's what I'll always love to do. But now that I've got this new camera, I've also had a few other ideas. I was a theater major, so there's been a few things rumbling around in my head, short films and other things that I want to test out. So this channel is going to be more than just parkour from now on, and hopefully not in a bad way. Hopefully you guys will stick around and you'll enjoy what you see. But today is a parkour related video, but without any parkour. Today, it's more about equipment. What equipment do you need for parkour, if any? And by that I mean, I've got an entire bag of GoPro accessories and goodies, things that you can wear and strap onto yourself that may help you with parkour, filming it at least. And also something I've always wanted to do for a while on this channel, and that's a shoe review. Not necessarily a review, but an overview. And that means what kind of shoes are best for parkour, which ones to avoid. I have 4 examples. 2 good, pardon me, 3 good, 1 bad. I'll show you why. Coming right up. Let's begin, shall we?
Shake it, you son of a bitch! Mom, Dad, why don't you finger me too? I can't say the same for me, you son of a bitch! I could be so fucking cool. I will never be young. I will never be loved. I will never be wrong. So I am royally fucked. I am royally fucked. Love it, you son of a bitch. All of them dead, let me be the same. I want to.
So here we have the head mount, the wrist mount, the bike mount, and a few extra random mounts to help. Then you've got the hat clip mount, windshield mount, the chest harness mount, the bright yellow tipped floating mount, and of course, your classic selfie stick. Yes, I'm drinking light beer, but I'm also 30 and trying to keep my girlish figure, so don't judge me. The first one is the forehead mount. I like it, but it ends up putting it directly on your forehead, which also puts a little bit of weight once the camera's mounted. I'm also afraid that if I have a hard impact or a roll, that thing's just gonna go flying. Thought about maybe the wrist strap, but I can't think of a reason to use it because my arms are constantly gonna be in motion in parkour, and that'd be the worst video capture ever. This little hat clip mount, wasn't sure about it at first. It's got quite the snap to it. It's actually a good hard spring. It's hard to pop open, but I don't really wear hats a lot. I actually do think this might be useful though, because if I come across maybe a thin branch or rail or something that I might be able to snap it to, possibly get an angle or a perspective nobody would expect, and I like creative shots, so we'll see. I might still tote that one around a little bit. The chest mount. Now, I like this one. It goes over your shoulders, it sits steady in the middle of your chest. Problem with this, if you're trying to film pure first person or POV, is it sits on your chest, not your head. So when I move my head, camera's not going to move. You're not going to be seeing what I'm seeing, just moving where I'm moving. I think the most instrumental of all of these pieces is going to end up being the selfie stick. Because if you ever have somebody filming with you, which I'm usually by myself, but if you have friends filming with you, that's something that you can use that's really easy. Follow along with somebody else doing a parkour or free running line, and you can get pretty cool angles, whether you're in front or behind them. But what I found is that all of my favorite video blogs, things like Stora Blog or Jason Paul's blog, their POV footage is great, and I noticed they're just holding it in their mouths. First, I couldn't figure out how. then it hit me. They're literally just putting their GoPro upside down and putting the basic mount in their mouth and holding it with their teeth, and then just flipping the video and editing. So, most of my POV footage, I'm not going to use any of this fancy stuff. We can literally just get rid of it. Let's go ahead and move on to what we're really here for, because all of this equipment doesn't matter if you're not filming. If you're really just training, if you're really just doing parkour and free running, the main thing is shoes. So let's get to the overview. To the shoes. Alright, now, so first pair I had were these Nikes. Sorry they're a little dirty, I've had them for years and they've been in the closet for a while, so they're covered in hair. Great shocks on the bottom, you can tell from the way they're geared here. But also, the bottom had great tread. It was all kind of worn away over the years, but it was all one smooth, solid pattern, and that was what was important, because what you need to know about parkour shoes is you need a solid setting. A lot of parkour shoes, or even just running shoes in general, have separate added on pieces of gel or rubber that kind of poke out a little bit, supposed to help for grip, but when you're running up and down walls, they rip off immediately. What I thought was going to give me a lot of grip, but these are the K-Swiss tubes, and I've had these for a few years as well. They're very comfortable. I actually really like them for running. They're lightweight, but the problem is the tubes. The biggest part is the separation, and you can already tell how many have ripped off of this one. Between this spot and this spot, that one's already coming off too. First time I ever did a reverse cat down a wall, descending a wall, I ripped half of these off. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Breathable is good, lightweight is good, but you do not want individual separations with grips like this because they will catch on an obstacle and be destroyed. WFPF, the KOs, the World Parkour and Freerunning Federation shoes, the no obstacle shoes. This is another old pair of mine I've had. I've had two pair of these actually, the grays and the blacks. These are obviously amazing. They're lightweight, they breathe really well. They're well built, so again, they have one solid piece of rubber, not separated rubber, because it keeps better that way. Plus, there's this one solid foam sole in the middle to kind of connect it all, which is also very lightweight and cushiony. But they do break apart. The first couple of things I ever tried to run up or down, the toe came apart like this, so keep in mind the general wear and tear for a shoe like this, especially when it's an off-brand, as well as they are made, they're going to fall apart pretty quick. Recently, I found a pair of a brand called Sperry, and they're known more for like casual, almost dress style boat shoes and things like that, but they just put out their first running shoe, and these are amazing. This top part right here is like a glove. It really fits your shoe well. You'll notice they have less holes, so your laces don't go all the way down your foot, so it just holds tight at the top, and it leaves a lot of room for flexibility down here. Plus, this is a breathable mesh, so your feet feel really good when you're running around, and they're extremely lightweight. And again, the bottoms are amazing. The toe pads have great grip. You see how they're layered there? So when you're going against the grain, they catch really well. And they don't rip off very easily either because they're just cut out parts of the same piece of rubber. And then it leads down into these grips, which I actually thought were just solid, but as I wore them down, you can see these little wavy lines that have occurred. They're actually right underneath the surface, and they actually accumulate more grip as they spread out. I'll show you close. So anyway, these shoes I truly recommend. They're not that expensive. I think they look really cool. They're extremely lightweight, and they fit the mold of a good parkour shoe, which is simple, one solid piece design, good grip, and it doesn't wear down immediately by ripping apart. So far, I've only worn these a few times, but this is my current go-to. So if you can find a pair, I definitely recommend. So my overview of the shoes is basically when you're looking for parkour shoes, you want to have something that is lightweight, which means it might tear apart quick, but you want to make sure the grip on the bottom is the important part. Mostly one solid piece. You don't want things that are going to flay off the second you hit a hard obstacle or a rough obstacle. So those are my recommendations. Like I said, some good, some bad. A lot of it comes with experience. So play around with it yourself. Be safe, everybody. Again, this was my non-free running video. I wanted to highlight a lot of the equipment that you can or cannot use as best to capture your GoPro or camera footage in general, and some shoes that are also considered equipment, because the best thing about parkour is you don't need money, you don't need a bunch of pads and gear and balls and bats and all that stuff. You just need shoes. So go out and move, everybody. I'll see you soon.